but we want to stick to our scheduled time. And if we run a little over, then maybe that'll be okay. But let's start on time if we can. Today we have a really full agenda with a lot of really cool stuff on it, really good things. And what we're going to start with today is we're going to welcome Dr. Surrency to our group and ask if he would like to say a few words and update us on the great things that are going on in Putnam County School System.
I would be honored to. Thank you, Wanda. It's good to be back. I know I've missed a couple of meetings myself because of different conflicts, but I want to mention a couple of things, and then I'm going to introduce one of our newest staff members and let her say a few words too. But there's two things I want to talk about real quick. Is just the revitalization plan that we've discussed before, and as you know, we are in the consolidation part of that plan, which is the first phase. And I know you've heard all that in the news, and we talked about closing 5 schools, and that's been as much as you think that's a negative, it's actually going to be a very positive. And we are going to a K-6 with all of our elementary schools, and then a grade 7-12 configuration with all of our high schools. And they will be called junior, senior high schools now. But we've actually had our principals, high school principals, attending different meetings like the city commission and the county commission, really trying to get the word out, and also to our school board, explaining, what the positives are of having the 7-12 configuration. So that's been a really, helpful for a lot of parents to see if I send my 7th grader to a junior, senior high school, what does that mean? And I think they've done nothing but really tell a compelling story that it's all going to be okay. And there's a lot more advantages and disadvantages. Second thing, I know some people are asking about mask, face coverings. What's going to happen with that? The CDC has recently, as of yesterday, changed their guidance as far as wearing masks outside. And our Commissioner of Education has sent out an executive order saying that school districts need to consider relaxing their mask mandates at the beginning of next year. So my staff and I, along with our health person, our epidemiologist, are really looking closely at the data. And we are talking about possibly looking at maybe relaxing some of those mandates even by the end of the year. But that is not a guarantee yet, because we have experienced a little spike in our numbers. So we don't feel good about relaxing those protocols right now, but we will be looking at the data on a daily basis. And when we feel like we're in a good spot, then we will be making an announcement about possibly changing that. If not by the end of this year, possibly into summer school. So just stay tuned to that. Finally, I want to introduce someone that many of you already know, and that is Ashley McCool. And Ashley should be on the call. And Ashley is our new Director of Community Relations, and she's really the point person for reaching out to our community partners, really telling our story as well as listening to some of their concerns. And Ashley's really spearheaded our whole thing about trying to get the message out about our 7-12 configuration. And the other big thing she's going to be working on is really getting out the message about our new 5-year strategic plan that we're working on. So I'm going to step back for just a minute and ask Ashley if she could just come on and just say a few words to the group, and then we'll be done. Ashley?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Surrency. Most of you I know. There's some folks on the call who I've not had an opportunity to meet yet, but I want to appreciate all the work you guys are doing for PIDAC. I've been a part of this group off and on as the previous school administrator, and I know that the work of our parents and our staff communicating with one another is huge in moving our district forward. So Dr. Surrency did mention that we have a strategic plan that will be finalized and approved by the board in June. And so at that time, we'll be spending a lot of efforts, sharing that plan with all of our stakeholders, and that will include this group. So Wanda, I would love to come back and share that when it's wrapped up at some point at your next meeting after that. And certainly just I'm available if you guys have any ideas or any great news you want to be shared in all of our social media channels and on our website. Part of, sharing information is also receiving information. So it's just making sure that we have a great two-way communication with our stakeholders and our families and the school district. So thank you, Dr. Surtsey and Wanda, for all the work you do with this this group. And let me know if there's anything I can do to help out.
Thank you, Ashley. And Wanda, any questions or anything that either Ashley or I can answer from any of the group?
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Surtsey or Ms. McCool? Only that I know that we've got amazing STEM stuff, and you did some really good trips and presented for Putnam County. We're really getting well known in America and internationally with what's going on here in Putnam County. That's pretty big.
We've got Mike Helms on the call here, and Mike and I just got off the phone with each other. We are actually, we just found out yesterday, we're going to be presenting our STEM and AI presentation at the NEFEC Summer Leadership Conference at Sawgrass this July. So don't know if Mike has anything he wants to add, but that's a wonderful opportunity for us to share some things. And we've already had other school districts from around the United States, not just Florida, really buy into our STEM initiative and our AI initiative. And I can't be more proud. I mean, people are calling Putnam County, including Duval County, right, Mike? Mike, you want to share that?
Here. Okay, I gotcha.
Yes, sir. We had a group of people that came down from Duval, and they came to a couple of our schools to see how to replicate what we're doing in Putnam County for STEM. And so they have 132 elementary schools, and so a lot more schools to implement STEM at, and so 123,000 roughly, if I can remember it right. That's way more, and so about 12 times, right? So we're just honored to be part of doing something so great that people from Duval and other counties want to try to replicate. And so it's really cool to be part of, and we love to share, because a lot of times when we coordinate and talk to other people, we learn from them too. So it's great to have collaboration with other counties to be able to learn things and grow our program while we get to show other people what we're doing.
Hey, by the way, Mike, y'all talk to Dr. Coleman, see if she can buy you a chair. You're not sitting down. I guess you have a chair there somewhere, but
yeah, I'm going back and forth.
Okay. Hey, one more thing. I just want to say, Mike and I, along with Kathleen Schofield, presented our STEM and AI initiative in San Antonio, Texas, a couple weeks ago. I flew out there, and Mike drove the STEM van all the way to San Antonio, and he opened it up, and we had people from all over the United States tour our STEM van, and they just thought that was the coolest thing since sliced bread. So thank you, Mike, for doing that. So
it was awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Wanda. Any other questions or comments? We'll hang around and be glad to answer them.
Well, I know Sawgrass is a really nice venue, and I'm excited for you guys to go and do that, Dr. Surtsey. But
it's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
I know. But I'm really looking forward to when y'all come back from Tibet.
Yeah, right. I'm waiting on that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. Yeah, that'll be interesting to hear.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, dear. If there aren't any more questions for Dr. Surtsey, then we'll go on with our agenda. I'm going to share with you the results of our parent survey for 2021. I've just kind of collated it together and made a few comments. We're going to provide a link for this survey on the district website if it's not already there, so that parents can go and look at that. And we base our changes and revisions of our parent and family district level parent and family engagement policy from the results of this survey. So that's the purpose, really, to gather information from parents and families so that we know how we're doing and what we can improve upon. So I'm going to share my screen now. You'll hold on just one moment.
Click right there. Yep. Mhm.
Okay. Is everyone able to see the survey?
Mhm.
Okay. As you can see, there was a total of 1,247 responses. That is actually up from last year's, which is good news. We used to do this survey in paper pencil for many, many years, which was very cumbersome and kind of unhygienic, because those surveys would come back in all kinds of shapes, and we would take the surveys individually and scan them using a Scantron machine that we had that would create our charts and graphs. But we switched to an online survey. I think this is maybe our third or possibly fourth. I think it's third year of doing that. So our yearly, our responsive parent responses have grown. So folks are getting used to responding to this manner. We're really happy because it's such a more efficient and clean way of gathering information. All right, this year we revised a little bit the questions. PIDAC actually, folks actually revised our questions a little bit, but not too much different from years past, only basically to reflect the COVID changes that we had to make at our schools because of COVID. So the first question talks about how does your child attend school? And if you can see, the majority of our students are still brick and mortar. There were a few, 144 that actually did option 1 and 2, so they were both. And then 133 students, I'm sorry, dear. Option 2 was digital learning at home. It was 144. And then 133 students did a combination of 1 and 2. There were a few other options, but they were very, not many students or not many people that responded to this survey chose those. So that's basically a layout of how our kids came to school this year. All right, I'm just going to go through these and let you look. At the bottom of each of the little graphs, I've did some addition. This side is kind of the positives, because the way we state our questions, if you strongly agree or agree, then you think that's a good thing. And if you strongly disagree or strongly disagree, then you think it's not such a good thing. You don't feel positive about that question. So the first question was, the school provides opportunities for me to be involved in our child's education. And then we gave some examples of that. As you can see, 62% of our parents agreed that we're
Can y'all hear me? They're working, trying to get it fixed on their end.
We had some technical difficulties. I'll go ahead. I get blamed for everything, so most of the time. And can you hear me? Good now?
We're
Oh,
good,
yeah.
Nathan?
So the internet was down and a little technical yeah, okay, it's good.
Oh, good.
So we're going to share your entire screen. Click on
I think
this.
that's what messes up, do you?
No, that's not. I lost connection too. So
Okay.
she's going to start off.
Thank you, Sue. All right, folks, so I'm not really sure where I was frozen, but I'm just going to start on question 8 because that's what came up on my slide. Okay, and let me repeat that this survey is available. If it's not available, it will be after this meeting online in the federal programs on the district website at federal programs, and you can view the results there. And these chart, and you'll actually see it in chart form, so it's very easy to read. So my child's teacher regularly communicates me, which is very important. Oh, why are we doing that? I don't know what that's doing. Let me put that down there. 62% of respondents felt that we're doing a good job with our teachers communicating with our parents. 69%, this was the second greatest of agreement, which is good news from a Title I standpoint, because 69% of the parents understand that they have a right to be engaged in their child's education. So that was good news. And then question 10, encourage us to review and provide input for the school parent compact. 62% of the respondents are aware of the compact, which is really good, and they feel like they had an opportunity to provide input. Number 11, encourages me to review the school improvement plan. 60% of respondents do feel that they had to have the knowledge that the school improvement plan requires their input, or they can put input. All right, 59%. This was one of the higher numbers of strongly disagree. It tied with the other question. It encourages me to review and provide input for the family engagement plan. So I guess we need to talk more about our family engagement plan. And then number 13, encourage to attend the Title I meeting, which is very important. 61% were invited and encouraged to attend. All right, this data shows you which of the following limits you to being able to attend school activities virtually or in person. This is like how we can determine a barrier to parent engagement. The first thing is your family schedule. It's always the family schedule. Families are busy, so it's hard sometimes to get to school. The second thing is the lack of communication from school. That actually is usually that's pretty high. Pretty low. So we kind of goes along with the rest of our data in the survey. We need to do a better job of communicating. And then the time of school events. generally that's after school, and parents have other things to do at that time, I think. So those are areas we want to look at and maybe address or will address in our plan. Which of the following do you prefer as a means to receive information? Phone calls and emails were very close together as at number 2, but the number 1 by far was text. Parents like to get text. That's how we communicate these days. And then finally, number 3, a written notice home or apps. They kind of were very close. So those 3 ways are the best ways to send out information according to the respondents. Which of the following would you like school to more information? The first, they kind of tied together very closely. Help your child study and complete homework, which is always such a traumatic experience, or at least it's been my experience with my own daughter and grandchild, trying to help them with homework at night. And then to help your child, strategies to help your student achieve. Those 2 things are very close. How to help my child with math. That's been a big issue with parents at PIDAC meetings for several years. That math is not everyone's strong point. It's hard to help a child at home. And reading. So math and reading are right there. And then that's just that information in graph form. Okay, folks. So like I said, this information will help with our policy, write our district policy, and that link will be provided so that if anybody wants to go and look at it, they can. Right,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay. What is that doing?
That's.
I'm scared to click on it.
Let me make sure something.
We're not. Did they not hear you in that?
Yeah, I think they're good.
Okay.
Just
you did hear it all.
y'all still good?
Okay.
So
Can
the
you repeat it
Wi-Fi
all back to me?
Yeah. Can we get a summary?
A summary. I can.
Okay, you're good now.
All right. Was that a question?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. And that summary that I put together, I can email out to folks or upload it onto our website. So that'll be there for you. I didn't want to summarize it too much because I don't want to put my thoughts and words into everybody else's interpretation, but that was just a quick overview. All right, very quickly, I have a very great opportunity for parents at schools. We have a little more parent-family engagement money that we need to spend. So we would like to invite parents at schools to fill an Amazon cart with up to $500 worth of learning materials that they feel that their teachers and parents could use at their school. So I'm going to just throw that out there. If you are a parent that's with us now, and I know we have probably a couple, you can text me later or call me later or email me later, and I'll give you a little more details. If you are a principal or administrator of a school, please get that word out to your parents. Find a parent that you think would be interested in doing this so that you can get these materials for your school. And I'm available. You can email me or call me, and I'll give you a little further information on that. Okay, right now, I would like to turn our meeting. Well, first of all, are there any questions before I go forward? I feel like I'm racing to the finish line.
I have a question.
Yes, dear. Who?
I'd like to know what percentage of that were parents from Spanish-speaking background.
Well, Miss Luz, is that who's speaking?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot my camera.
Miss Luz, we did not disaggregate that on that particular survey, but we also sent that survey out in a Spanish format, so that parents who felt more comfortable communicating in Spanish could communicate with us. And I have those results. We only have 23 parents that responded that way, and that link will be there also.
Okay.
So, those 23 parents, they had a little different needs than the group that we went over, that we addressed. And so we have our wonderful ELL person, Miss Cherie Clayton, and Miss Priscilla Perry, who can also support those parents in any way that they needed was reflected in that survey.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And with that being said, it's very good segue because we have with us today Miss Perry and Miss Clayton, and they're going to do some presentation on the close collaboration that those two grants that they represent work together to support the ELL, our ELL students and our migrant students. So when you're ready to join us,
Oh, Cindy had a question.
Oh,
Is there
Cindy?
any specific funding amount or materials for guidance that they should share with the parents?
Cindy, it needs to be definitely academic learning focused. So we're not buying, balls and kickballs and volleyball nets and things like that. We want it to be academically focused towards reading or math or something that games the teachers can use in their classrooms or can be sent home. Whatever your needs of your school say. And
Okay. I was just wondering, did you want us to steer them in any direction? Math, reading,
that would be determined
the games, classroom library kind of books, or anything like that.
Well, by school, whatever you think that your school can benefit the most, then please have your parent look in that direction, okay? But it does need to be academically focused. Now you're frozen. Any other questions? Okay. Well, and if I'll come back on at the end if you think of anything, okay? Thank you, dear. Now we're going to turn the presentation over to Miss Perry and Miss Clayton.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ramonda Cherie Clayton. I'm our English Language Learner Support Leader.
And I'm Priscilla Perry. I'm so happy to have so many people on this time, and we're really excited to present today. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the migrant program. Pretty much it's been in existence for about 55 years. And basically, I did some points here of what it is for. Okay, the purpose of the migrant program is to help children that move a lot, that don't have hardly anything because of those moves. They're down in the poverty level. They have health needs. They have language barriers because they don't speak the language or very little. So this program helps to support those children with supplemental resources or supplemental help in the schools. Basically, how we find those children is here. I put some examples of some of the things that we use to find these children so that we can assist them while they're here in our county. We use an occupational survey that is given out with every enrollment package, and then questions them on what they do for a living, and if they work in any of those pictures there in any type of agricultural work, they may qualify. And so this is like a screener that we use so that I can contact them and see if they qualify. I also use flyers that I put out in the community with families, with farmers. And then we also use brochures that I put out in stores and in different businesses to help us find children that need that special help. So we're excited to be able to offer these helps, but we do need to find the children, find the families. So the more that you know about the program, maybe the more referrals I could get to help these children. Turn it over to Cherie.
So our students, our ELL students are identified a little differently. Of course, the home language survey is placed in our registration packet. And the 3 questions that are on there is there another language spoken in the home? Did the students that are registering, do they have a language other than English? And does the student most frequently speak a language other than English? So if a parent answers yes to any of those questions on the survey, then they are automatically put in our Skyward system as being temporarily placed in our ESOL program pending the English proficiency assessment results. So the assessment that we give in our district is the IPT. And K through 2nd, the students are only given the oral portion, and in grades 3rd through 12th, the students are given the oral reading and writing. And as you see on the chart, you can see the qualifying scores for the students to be tested into our ESOL program, as well as the non-qualifying scores. And this is what we do at the beginning of the year for our mostly kindergartners and then our other new students that we have that enter into our school district. So once the students are screened, if they qualify, of course, documentation goes home to the parent, and then they are giving here what you see an ELL plan that is updated annually. We have our teachers, myself, our parents, administrators all meet annually to update this information with their test scores and to go over effective instructional strategies that the students will be receiving, as well as accommodations both in the classroom as well as on state assessments. And if a student does not meet the qualifying scores to enter into ESOL and get a plan, then we also update and send that information home to the parents so that they are aware as well. As of right now, we have currently about 644 ELL students district-wide. So once the student enter into our ESOL program here, they are assessed annually. We are just finished up this assessment. It's called Access for ELLs, and they're assessed on their English proficiency. You can see the language domains. This is a sample score report. They're assessed in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And in order for a student to be considered proficient, they have to get a 4 in reading and a 4 overall. And if they're in a tested FSA grade, they have to get a 3 or higher on FSA ELA to be considered proficient and exit out of the program. I believe our score, we had about 19% proficient, and then this past year we went up to 22%. So we'll be waiting our score reports at the end of the school year to see what our percentage of students proficient will be for this upcoming year. So that ties into a lot of what I do. Of course, our identification of our ELL students. I also oversee the implementation of Imagine Learning, which is our supplementary support program that we use to support our both our ELL and our migrant students. I coordinate our Access for ELLs testing, which you just seen a sample score report. I also work closely with our ELA coaches and our administrators to see what their needs are for each school in order to support their teachers as we help our ELL students work towards being English proficient. And another big thing, what we've been doing, of course, is our parent involvement, working to support our families as they support our students. So we're going to share with you guys some of the parent involvement activities that we did this year.
Can we do this? All right, so in September, we started off our parent involvement with a graduation night. Of course, we still weren't having any meetings, so we made it a drive up, and we made packets for students that were going to be graduating within the next 2 years. And pretty much parents were to come in, drive up, and they'd get their little packet. And in our packet, we had lots of goodies. We had the ACT, SAT prep book. We had information on testing that was going to happen throughout the year. And we also gave them a graphing calculator in there. So it was a really good return on coming out for the drive up. And so here are some pictures. We did this in Crescent City, and we sent it out there. And there's some pictures of who came. It was a good turnout.
Another big thing that we did this year, we celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month, which we highlighted this in October. And we had a lot of collaboration here from administrators highlighting facts about Hispanic Heritage Month. We had students that performed dance performances. Ms. Priscilla and myself, we gave reading strategies to our families at home on how they can support their students academically and support strengthening their reading skills. And once the students watched the video, they did a survey. And once they completed the survey, they got a nice bag of books with those reading strategies. And we had about 50 survey responses from our family. So we're actually going to play a little short snippet of this just so you guys can see the video.
Hello, my name is Cherie Clayton, and I'm our English Language Learner Support Leader. About 10% of our student population here at Putnam County School District are Hispanic. It is important to us to honor their culture by celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hi, I'm Superintendent Rick Sorensen. Putnam County School District is happy to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. This evening, Cherie Clayton and Priscilla Perry have collaborated with Crescent City High, Miller Middle, Middleton Burney Elementary School, and QI Roberts to highlight Hispanic Heritage Month. This evening, you will hear students and staff honor Hispanic culture through literature, dance, and art. Closing our virtual Hispanic Parent Night, Cherie and Priscilla will be shining a spotlight on some famous Hispanic authors and books and some helpful reading strategies while reading at home with children. Once the parent night is over, there will be a link to click with a brief survey where you can provide feedback to us, and your child will be given a bag of free books with a list of reading tips as mentioned in the parent night presentation.
Buenas noches, soy Pris.
Mikey,
How do we get there?
Sorry, guys. So those are just a few pictures of the students that did the survey at home, and you can see them getting their bag of books that we promised after completing our survey about the parent night. Our other parent night that we did recently is our virtual math family night, and here we had Miss Wingfield from Middleton Burney and Miss Jamie Rivera, one of our district coaches. They highlighted how to use math manipulatives with the toolkits that we purchased, as you can see on the flyer. And after completing the survey, the students received these free math toolkits, and these toolkits were like $20 a piece. So they had some really good manipulatives in there, the ones that they use in school. So the parents were able to see how they could use those to support their students gaining, strengthening their math skills. So we're going to play a quick.
Welcome to our Putnam County Schools English Language Learner and Migrant Math Night. My name is Mrs. Clayton. I am our English Language Learner Support Leader. And Ms. Perry, who is our Program Specialist for Migrant Education, will be joining us momentarily. Tonight, two of our wonderful teachers will share ways you can help your child practice math skills at home. They will demonstrate how your child can use math manipulatives to learn various math skills. These toolkits are designed for your child's grade. Please click on the survey link below this video. Your input will help us improve our programs, and we will send free math toolkit home for your child. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Bienvenida a nuestra noche de matemática para estudiantes del idioma inglés y migrantes de las escuelas del condado de Putnam.
We use them to count, to add and subtract and making 10 and showing team numbers. And one way that you can use this 10 frame is to say, if you would like to tell us an addition number story and you're working on making 10, you could say there were 2 white flowers and 8 red flowers. How many flowers are there all together? And your child would put on the 2 white sides and then the rest in the red side, and they would be able to see that the 10 frame was full and that they were making 10. Por último y muy importante son los marcos de 10. Usamos estos marcos de 10 en el salón casi todos los días.
All right, so you can see that those were just a few pictures of the toolkits that we delivered to the students. I also just wanted to highlight our high expectations for all of our students, including our subgroup for our ELL students. And if you look, you can see that our percentage of our graduation rate has increased from 47.1 all the way up to 89.5 in the last couple of years. So we're really excited to see the growth that we've been seeing in our students. This is just our mid-year data. As I stated, we do have Imagine Learning, which is our supplemental program that we use to support our ELL and migrant students. It offers them both literacy and oral vocabulary support. So this is for Middleton Burney. You can look, it starts all the way at pre-K all the way to 5th, and you can see the growth for each grade level here and this is, like I said, middle of the year data. That was the literacy. This is the oral vocabulary data for beginning to middle of the year. So again, you can see each grade level, there has been growth so far. And then looking at our Brownie Pierce middle of the year data for Imagine Learning, this is the literacy data. Again, you can see the growth for each grade level. And then as well as for their oral vocabulary data, you can see the growth that they have there. We also have Imagine Learning is being utilized at other schools as well.
And finally, to recap, pretty much this year, we were able to assist and supplement our kids in schools by adding paraprofessionals that would be in some of the schools that had the most predominant migrant and ELL. And those paraprofessionals were there to support those children, to help them in tutoring, to help them in graduation requirements, pretty much just to support them. Okay, of course, we did the Imagine Learning this year. We also had the workshops that we got to share with you. Okay, we also refer them to needed services that maybe is not something that we have here at school, but we have contacts, so we refer kids outside of school. And finally, at the end of the summer, at the end of the school year, we were able to give Summer Bridge packets to all of our students so that they could continue to learn during the summer.
And as Ms. Priscilla stated, with our parent involvement workshops, the last one that we are going to do this year is actually going to be our STEM virtual night that we're going to do with our families based on the feedback that they provided us in our last survey. So we're excited about that. And we just want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for allowing us to share with you today. And does anyone have any questions before we close out? Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Clayton and Ms. Perry.
We don't have a date yet. We gotta wait for the book to come back in, but we'll get with her within.
I think she heard you. I think she said okay, so I think she heard you. Okay. Well, I just wanted to add to that. That working with Miss Clayton and Miss Perry and seeing that all the extra things that they do and their love of their children and their families truly have for those that population of people. It's amazing. We're very blessed to have them. And that growth that you saw in student learning can really be attributed to excellent instruction for one, but also for all that targeted support and after hour support and all the support that Ms. Clayton and Ms. Perry provides families. So thank you ladies very much. And I know there were a few draggy moments in our presentation with our video, but I want to tell you that we have the most talented videographers and editors at Federal Programs. If you could have seen it at full speed, the whole thing, you would be even more impressed. So thank you, Ms. Domini and Mr. Helms. Thank y'all very much. Well, are there any questions for me in general or anybody else in the group that presented today? Because we've reached the end of our agenda. And if I was not clear about the purchasing supplies for parent engagement and teacher supplies for your school, then please reach out to me. You can email me at wwilkinson@my.putnamschools.org. Or I text all our PIDAC parents a reminder every day the day before PIDAC. So you actually have a cell phone if you can hear me. So you can actually text me if you too, and we'll work to get that opportunity out there to schools, and so that we can give you some good supplies. Well, if that's everything, then we're going to call this meeting at an end. Our next meeting will be May 26th, and I'll send out reminders in the agenda. And if you would like to participate in any way on the agenda, if you'll just let me know, I'll add you. Okay.